He kōna ipurangi tēnei nā te reo irirangi o Aotearoa.
Want to know what's good to watch at the movies, or conversely, what you should avoid? Every Friday on Afternoons with me, Jesse Mulligan, our critic tells us what's hot and what's not in the world of cinema. Take a listen for the latest on new releases, behind-the-scenes dramas and scoops from directors with critic Kate Rodger. Kate Rodger is always feeling positive. She joins me now. Hello there.
I am, and I was just thinking that even though you know that I love to spend all my weekends in the movies, it's actually the start of school sports for me, and Max has his first football game tomorrow, and I think I'm kind of more excited than he is. Is that weird?
Is it weird? Well, he's old enough now that he's not in the 8 a.m. start, which...
Correct, it's not till midday.
It's a major pain when they're 5 or 6 years old, and you've got to get there by 7:45, which is very difficult on a Saturday morning. So, yeah. Oh, Kate, you just wake up, have a coffee, a croissant, read the paper, and then leisurely drive down to the park and watch your son. I'm not surprised you're looking forward to it. Plus, beautiful day in Auckland today as well. So, hopefully, if it's anything like this, you're going to love it.
Honestly, my favourite. I prefer this weather to height of summer, which is also controversial to say, but you wake up and it's crisp and cool, and in Auckland, a bluebird day, and I hear Wellington's stunning today too, and I just can't get enough of it.
I thought of you the other day because I saw a poster for something called Spider Noir. Have you come across that project at all? What the heck is that?
Come on, Jesse. Have you not watched all the amazing Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse with the incredible animation? Christopher Miller and Phil Lord. Have you not watched the animated Spider-Man
I've been
movie?
aware of it being on in my presence.
Right. Well, Spider Noir, who is a comic book icon, played just to perfection by Nicolas Cage, is one of the side characters in those films. And he's got his own film. And when I saw that first trailer drop, I just was like, is there any other actor you can imagine playing this kind of Spider guy? It just looks terrific. Do you know what's also awesome? You can choose how you want to watch it. You watch it in black and white, like Spider-Man Noir, or they also have a version of it called True Blue, which is kind of a cool, colour-saturated version. Or you can watch it twice, and that's what I'll be doing.
Oh, that's very clever. Innovation in the way they bring you their Spider-Man movies, if not innovation as to the fact that they're just making another Spider-Man movie. Very good. Well, you're not at Spider-Man this week. You're at another reboot. No pun intended. Devil Wears Prada 2.
Oh, I see what you did there,
Yeah.
you see.
What do you think?
You're looking pretty smart in a couple of photos I saw you, in fact, on the socials. Have you been doing a few red carpets and sort of this is the film for you then, clearly.
I think I'll get exactly one red carpet this year, which was the Tape Music Awards, so I decided to make a special effort. Thanks for noticing.
Yeah, you looked amazing. In fact, you wouldn't have looked out of place in Devil Wears Prada. And the really interesting thing about this, and we call it a reboot, it kind of is, it's a sequel. If you take all of the goodwill that Tom Cruise gave us by waiting so long to give us another Top Gun and delivered it to us, there also have been some kind of, not so good versions of trying to push that nostalgia button. And the throwbacks can be a bit cringy. But one thing that Devil Wears Prada 2 gives us is that throwback without it being cringy. And also now they have this gargantuan inbuilt audience that they didn't have when they first shot this film. Meryl's come back, obviously. She's a queen as Miranda. Oh my goodness, she's so great. Anne Hathaway, of course, and the fabulous Emily Blunt and Stanley Tucci kind of anchor it. And they're all back, and seeing them back together is kind of awesome. But can I just issue a trigger warning to you, Jesse, and any other journalism colleagues that may be listening, and I know they are. The first 5 minutes of this, with no spoilers, is deeply triggering.
Is it about cutbacks at the fancy magazine?
The cut and slashes. She basically left runway way back in the day and went off to be a real journalist. You know those people, the real journalists. And she's been working for a very worthy paper and doing amazing stories and traveling around the world. And in accepting a journalism award, her entire table of the paper she works at were sacked by text. And then she had to get up on stage and accept her award. And I wasn't expecting that commentary that is actually threaded and embedded into the story throughout the whole film of the crisis of media in the world and the respect that people have for the media and the shift from magazines to digital, which has all happened since the first Devil Wears Prada. And I just think they handled it with a lot of quite incisive commentary and some poise. And I was really here for it. And I was expecting just to be into it for the shoes. And there was a little bit more to chew on than that.
Did they have to work very hard to, I don't know, make it make sense as to why these two characters are getting back together again? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, you call it, well, forgive the pun, you do have to shoehorn a couple of kind of plot twists to make it sense, but it didn't feel jarring. She's basically sent back to the paper to help a bit of a scandal that's hit Miranda, and their relationship is still complicated. And the Emily relationship, which was one of the most fabulous things about the first film, was Emily Blunt and her character Emily. She returns to the fray in a very different capacity. So it's the shift of who's the villain and who isn't, and I think was clever, and the delight of Stanley Tucci was great. Look, I took my 86-year-old dad, Ian, you've met him, Jessie, to see this film. He loved it. Yeah. There was a really mixed, interesting crowd. I think lots of people are going to head along to this for a warm hug, and they're not going to be disappointed. It's not a hit out of the park for me. It's not a Top Gun Maverick of sequels, if I can use that analogy, but there's certainly, there's just nothing to hate about it. I would have loved a little bit more fash. Yeah. I know the interesting thing is we've been exposed to a lot of their looks because of the joy of the internet. There were so many paparazzi shots of them shooting on New York and in Milan that we saw a lot of the looks before we see them on the big screen. So the girly in me soaked it up, but could have done with a little bit more. Can I say that? Just a little bit more. Will
it be 20 years before the next one?
You know what Hollywood's like. It's hard to say. We also have to remember, if my memory serves me correctly, this is the first time Meryl has ever returned to the scene of a cinematic crime.
That is...
the first time she's... which I don't think she'll be unhappy with the result.
That is really interesting. Meryl Streep's first sequel.
Meryl Streep's first sequel. I feel a little bit weird in the head today, so maybe I'd better double Google that, but I feel like it is, and that makes it really interesting, I think. Yeah. Look, it's worth the ticket price is all I'm saying, and it's also one of those, I'm not going to say it's a girl's outing, it's an anybody's outing, better joined in a group, I'd reckon, with a nice glass of Pinot Noir.
Love it. That's Devil Wears Prada 2. Yeah, well, can't believe you took Ian instead of me. And I'm right here. No, it's hard enough to get out. I've already been out twice this week. It's more than enough to in the family schedule.
Exhausting, darling. Get your hot water bottle out.
What is Apex?
What is Apex? In fact, if you do want a little stay at home tonight, Jessie, and you do sound a little weary, then you could just switch on your televisione and switch on Netflix and watch a big screen movie that Netflix has made for your small screen viewing pleasure. And it's called Apex. And Charlize Theron is in this film, and so is Taron Egerton. And it's shot in Australia. And Taron Egerton plays an Australian in this film. And I don't think I've encountered an Australian accent by a Brit as flawless as Egerton.
That's great.
I know he's so good at that because he's been Elton John and we know he can sing. He does all sorts of things, but he's terrific in this. You only have to look at one trailer to get a gist of this film, where he starts out as a nice guy and then he turns into a psychotic dude chasing Charlize around the Australian bush with guns, with a very evil-looking thing that fires arrows. And he basically gets her into the bush and then hunts her, is the premise of Apex. And the really disappointing way that this film evolved is that the setup was so engaging and intriguing. That whole notion of a fish out of water, she's an incredible bushwoman and mountain climber. Let's just say that Eric Bana's in this film, but he's only in there for the first 5 minutes, and I don't want to give you any spoilers, but something terrible happens. to Charlize, and she seeks solace by going bush in Australia, and Taryn decides to terrorise her. And it goes from the sublime to the ridiculous. If you just want to just immerse yourself in something that gets every now and again a little bit gruesome, actually. So maybe don't have a butter chicken while you're watching it. It's very action-packed. There's amazing kayaking. There's amazing stunt work. The behind the scenes of making this film, for me, weirdly, is almost more engaging than how the film ended up for me. First half hour, hard out into it, and then it kind of weirdly, as the action got ramped up, it limped to a narrative kind of gasp across the finish line for me. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Kate. Great to talk to you.
Always.
Speaking of Aussie accents, have you been watching The Pit, the TV show The Pit?
Oh, are you insane? Have I been watching The Pit? Of course I have. Every single episode.
Yeah, we've been loving it. Do you know Javadi, the young kind of like savant, Shabana? She's an Aussie.
Stop it.
She is. She's an Aussie actor playing a Pittsburgh doctor, and I would never have known. She's nailed that US accent.
I would never have known that. I love that. And I think Whittaker's British.
Which one's Whittaker? I never know character names.
He's a gorgeous guy.
The kid that
gone from being an intern, but
Huckleberry.
Yeah, Huckleberry. We're so obsessed. How many more eps have you got?
I know. We just finished ep 12 last night. We're loving it.
My goodness. Of season 1?
And of season 2. And we've got used to the gore now, so Victoria doesn't pass out every time we see blood, which is a progress.
I just lift my hands up above my eyes. I'll never get used to the gore. It is such gripping television and such a political, social commentary on the health system in the States as well.
Great to talk.
Amazing. Good chat.
See you soon. Kate Rodger, our film critic. Is Kate still there, Tom? Bring her back if you can find
always.
her. Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Meryl Streep was in 2 Mamma Mia movies.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, I knew I was having a slow day.
I'm going to forgive your sacrilegious outburst just then because I know how devastated you will be to get that wrong.
Yeah, I am. I'm terribly sorry for my outburst, just purely knowing that it's mainlining into the disappointment I feel in myself.